versus the woman toss himself, Bisu. Oh man, this should be an awesome game. FBH, man, if he can take a game off Bisu, he's gotta dance, like, no question. No question. FBH, alright guys, everybody, even you Bisu fanboys and fangirls out there, you gotta cheer for FBH here. I mean, you know, Bisu can lose, SKT's still gonna win the match, like, it doesn't matter, so come on. We just wanna see some dancing. Just wanna see some dancing. As you saw earlier, Bisu has a very nice win ratio against the FBH. What was it, like 7-3? However, there is a little bit of history between these players. Wow, look at that! Bisu's actually 1-2 against Terran this season. Huh. Anyway, once upon an MSL, I think it was an MSL, or maybe it was an OSL. Once upon a Star League, when firebathero was more or less in his prime, but even in his prime, firebathero, his worst matchup by far was TVP. But then one day, he went to the group selection ceremony, and he was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick a group with all Prodosses. And people were just like, what? Are you out of your mind, firebathero? You are terrible at TVP. Why would you pick a group with Prodosses? And FBH was just like, don't worry about it. Do not fret. So he picked a group with only Prodosses. One of those happened to be this fine, young, womanly Protoss that you see on the screen, Bisu. And FBH 2-0'd the group. That's right. At a time when his TVP was still awful. It's actually not that bad anymore, but at a time when his TVP was terrible, he 2-0'd an all Protoss group, and the way he did it was actually doing like these really interesting early aggression, or I guess, wait, does that make sense? Aggressive, very aggressive strategies. Like he basically won them in the early or mid game, and made it out of the group, and then he hit Bisu again in the actual bracket, and Bisu just crushed him. So yeah, that didn't last long. Bisu just like watched the replays. He was like, oh, as long as I don't die in the first 10 minutes, I win the game. Well then, easy peasy. So apparently that was the Club Day MSL. All right, excellent. So if you guys are interested in that, you can go watch that. It was quite funny. And anyway, looks like we're gonna be on Jade. Bisu here is the yellow Protoss on the top right. Firebathero, the blue Terran at the bottom right. 60 something. I don't know. Is it like Bisu's 60th birthday or something? I don't know. Anyway, looks like Bisu. Alright, it says Bisu is. Wait. Alright, he's in the Protoss top 4. Apparently he's tied with the guy in 3rd, even though his record is worse. Those stats confuse me a little bit. Like, if you're 10-7, I don't know why you're counted as the same rank as the guy who's 10-6. I guess it's only based on wins, which seems a little bit dumb. Anyway. So, oh, a second pylon already. That means we're going to see a Zealot first out of Bisu. This is not standard PvT. However, Bisu did show us some very interesting PvT with this style before, notably in a game against Flash on Aztec, where he built a forward gateway at his natural and did like some very aggressive one-gate Zealot play. He basically did a one-gate expand, like no gas expand, which is kind of crazy in PvT, but he made it work with good micro, and he's being super aggressive with his probe here. Is he going to get it? Not quite! But firebathero having to pull 2 SCVs to ward off this Bisu probe here. Man, this guy is vicious. Look at that. Wow. The Marine finally comes out, but that must have gotten FBH's heart rate up. By the way, obviously when I say FBH, I do mean firebathero. It's a little bit easier to say that. Anyway, it looks like 2 Marines out, and is that just a 1-Rax expand from FBH? I actually didn't pay attention to whether he took his gas or not. No, it looks like it is in fact going to be a command center now. So that is going to make the, well, it means the Zealot has a high chance of being very successful here. It's really going to come down to the Marine Ryko. Obviously, there's not going to be a Vulture out or a Siege Tank or anything like that for a very long time. It's just going to be a Marine SCV on Zealot action. And the SimCity, that Barracks Depot SimCity, is in the main base, not here at the Natural. So it's just going to be like pure micro here at the top of the ramp. There is Fantasy, looking slightly amused by what's going on. But the bunker is almost up, but the Zealots are going to close with the Marines. That bunker has to finish, but even if it finishes, the Zealots can just run past into the main base. Looks like 1 Marine, 2 Marines go down. firebathero has just stopped microing for some reason. I don't understand. firebathero literally stopped microing there. What on earth? Oh my god. I mean, he's going to take down the Zealot, but... What? That was just silly. Like... Oh, man. Nah. Alright, whatever. Like, come on, dude. firebathero. Come on. Seriously. Anyway. Looks like Zealot's gonna run by into the main. That Marine's gonna go back to the bunker and let a second Marine deal with this. He's doing a good job pulling his SCVs now, but... That was pretty... I don't really know what happened. Like, maybe he over or underestimated... Or, wait. Which way am I going? He overestimated the... No, he underestimated the amount of health the Zealot had left. So he thought his Marines would just kill it, and he might lose like 1 or 2 max. But Zealot's a pretty beefy man, so that Zealot, he actually like took all the shots and killed everything anyway. He's like that frigging samurai hero in those movies. He just gets like shot 20 times, it doesn't even matter. Just keeps charging forward. It's like Terminator Zealot. Anyway. We do have a Robo. And 2 factories on the other side for firebathero. Let's see if Bisu goes for some fancy Reaver Harass. Could be quite good. Looks like a couple of probes getting stuck on that gateway, spazzing out a little bit. That is a danger actually. If you make your SimCity too tight and too pretty, and your buildings are kind of in between in the main and the natural, a lot of times probes just get stuck on the buildings. Like, it's really dumb. I don't, like, oh man. I actually played a ladder game the other day, like after the stream. I'm sure some people were watching that, but I basically literally could not transfer probes from my main to my natural. They just ended up in an infinite loop between 2 gateways and a pylon. I was just like, it was absolutely ridiculous. I just could not transfer the probes. Anyway. Engineering bay going up for firebathero. So, you know, presumably he'll play it safe and actually make turrets, you know, not go flash style and cancel the turrets right before the shuttle gets there. And, welp. Interestingly, Dragoon range hasn't even finished yet. These have been putting on some Dragoon pressure, just ranging that barracks. But there's the first siege tank. Turret's going up in the main, and looks like Bisu going to back up now. 1 turret going up the front as well, going to prevent any kind of DT silliness. And ooh, I like that that turret kind of at the north side of the base. So that's going to help a lot against the shuttle. If Bisu just kind of doesn't really pay attention, he might get a few free hits on that. But there's the Reaver coming out. And notice that support bay is kind of built as far left as the pylon provides power for. That's basically in case firebathero did actually go for a relatively quick comsat and scans the main. It makes it more likely that he misses the support bay. It's almost the same principle as like what Deer did against Flash. And that's the second time we had that random image flash. I know people are talking about it in the chat. I don't know, like maybe Kespa's trying to do some subliminal messaging or something. I don't know what that is, guys. It's kind of weird. Anyway, here comes the Reaver now. 1 siege tank in good position with a turret next to it. It's going to be a little bit tricky for Bisu to do stuff, but he's going to drop the Zealot first, tanking the first siege tank shot. Reaver or Scarab goes out, but complete dud. And, oh, he might hit the siege tank, though. Does get a shot off. Actually hits the turret there. That's going to be quite important. It's going to let him drop directly on top of the siege tank. 1 Dragoon going in the front, but, oh, looks like 2 extra siege tanks coming in here. A couple of SCVs going down, but I'd imagine that Reaver has at least lost all his shields, probably taken a bit of hull damage as well. So Bisu is going to retreat with that. Meanwhile, though, he has you know, taken advantage of that harassment to get his own 3rd base up, and I believe he saw the 3rd command center of firebathero. I'm not 100% sure about that. But I mean, just seeing two factories in the main, I mean, he should be able to figure out what's going on. Looks like firebathero has replaced that turret in his main. He hasn't put his guys back on gas though. That could be a costly mistake if he doesn't notice. He's getting his second gas now. I hope he fixes that. But oh, it looks like Reaver not done, or Reaver not done. Bisu not done with the Reaver harass just yet. He is just going to try and pick off some of these edge turrets that will actually allow him to do even more harassment. But Seashank's going to come in here and clean that up. And it looks like firebathero actually doesn't feel safe floating his third base out just yet. Just going to leave it in his main base, build a couple of SCVs. I think that's probably a good idea. He's just going to wait for Seashanks to move out and get in good positions. Meanwhile, Bisu is getting +1 air attack and a Stargate. We might actually be seeing a carrier switch here. I am not convinced that that is a good idea. This is a very open map. There aren't that many cliffs and whatnot that he can abuse. It doesn't feel like a very carrier map to me. And Bisu has made this kind of mistake in the past where he just goes carriers on non-carrier maps. I mean, I think I actually made reference to a game very recently, Bisu versus Flash on Monte Cristo, where Bisu had a nice advantage going into the mid game, and then he went carriers and just completely got owned. So I guess we'll see how this works. He has gotten the second Stargate and the Fleet Beacon. Looks like gonna just harass the third base a little bit. I don't think he can do too much though. He's got to be a little bit careful here, because you know, going for this carrier switch means he is going to be a little bit low on the ground troops. So he's really got to conserve every single Dragoon in order to not die before the carriers get out. But it looks like firebathero has already made a couple Goliaths. Now, I believe this is just to ward off that shuttle. I don't know if he's actually scouted the Stargates yet. And by scouted, obviously, I mean comsatted them. It's possible that he has. I don't know, actually, how many Goliaths does he have? Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, if he only had a couple of Goliaths, I would say that's just, you know, anti-shuttle defense. But if he actually makes like more than two, then that would mean that he has in fact seen the carrier switch, which would be quite nice for him, because that would mean he spotted it before like even the first carrier is out. He's got plenty of time to react. There were Sun, Best, and I believe Hyuk was sitting on the right there, all eagerly watching their Gosu Protoss buddy here. But I am not convinced about this. We actually haven't seen carriers very much in Pro League this season. I remember Best actually tried it on Sniper Ridge against, was it Last? And he failed miserably. And I'm just trying to think, did anybody else go carriers in PvT and win? Huh. I don't know. Anyway, a bunch of factories being added. That machine shop is spinning. Presumably that is Goliath range. He must have all the other upgrades already. I mean, he's got speed already. He's got siege mode, obviously, and there are some mines. So yeah, it's got to be Goliath range. Meanwhile, just doing a bit of vulture harass. Dragoon's gonna clear this up. Whoa! Almost took a hit there. That would have been bad. As I said, very crucial to not lose Dragoons at this point. Bisu, crucial to not lose Dragoons. Not lose them. Anyway, Observer poking around in the main base does see the Goliath range being upgraded. So Firebat here is well aware of what's going on, but he can't do too much just yet. Looks like going to try and do a bit more vulture harass. There's a nice wall in here at the bottom. One Dragoon actually even made on the inside there to help out. And looks like, wow, Firebat here actually just adding on a ton of factories here. I mean, this is going to be very interesting because he's not going to push before Bisu hits that nice critical mass of carriers. The general wisdom is that you should have at least 4 carriers before you reveal them, like before you actually go attack with them. That's the magic number. I think that's like the minimum number you need to one-shot a Goliath or something like that. But I mean, obviously firebathero's seen them, and I mean, just look at the map. It's so open in the middle. So, I mean, obviously, you know, he can do some fancy micro, he can use them to help out against the push. Like, carriers are still good, even if the map doesn't necessarily suit them, but I'm very curious about this choice. Anyway. And the first couple of carriers are out. Looks like a bunch of turrets on the right side here. Very interesting. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. So you know, firebathero, he wants to push along the middle, obviously. So he just built a ton of turrets here at the right side. I mean, even if they don't kill any carriers, which they obviously shouldn't, they'll at least just buy some time. And looks like though he gets a little bit caught out of position. A nice observer placement there, but ooh, grabbing some free dragoons there. And actually, the Goliath's coming in here. Only 2 carriers so far. I'm surprised Bisu didn't... Okay, no, they're the extra 2, so now he's up to the magic 4 carriers. And, oh, no, going up to 5 carriers now. And those 2 gateways still unrallied. Looks like a bit of a blunder by Bisu. He's missing 6 zealots here and doesn't seem to notice. Firebathero replenishing those turrets. He's got to make a decision what he wants to do now. He might actually go and clean up this attack and push along the right side here. That could be a good move, but... here we go. I think Bisu is actually committed here. I don't think there's a good retreat path for him anymore. Bisu, oh my god, Bisu caught in a very bad position, actually. His dragoons are not going to do very much at all. This is horrible for Bisu. Oh man, he's literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. He can't go up the ramp. He's like, the best thing to do might have been just to run up into the 3rd base, but his entire ground army getting slaughtered there. Firebathero losing almost nothing. This is like the worst possible situation. The only saving grace here is that he's kept all of his carries alive, and Firebathero doesn't have an insane number of Goliaths. He can't just like A-move and kill all the interceptors. He's not at that point yet, but man, that was just a terrible decision by Bisu to move in there. I mean, oh my, oh, that was, just watching that as a Protoss player, I'm just like, what? Bisu. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I was rooting for firebathero anyway. But this is quite silly. And now he's in trouble because now this big ground army is going to roll in, right? And carriers aren't really suited for direct engagements. Like, the only time you can directly engage army against army is if you're supported by a decent number of dragoons, and crucially, High Templar are actually very, very useful in these straight-up fights. Generally, what you see when Protoss goes carriers in this matchup is the late-game composition is carrier, dragoon, High Templar, and you just, like, storm the clumps of Goliath, and it's really, really nice, but right now, this is not ideal. The Goliath count, though, still feels a little bit low to me. That is a lot of carriers. Bisu doing a good job microing, picking off the leading siege tanks, doing a little bit of a counterattack with his ground forces. There's a wall there, though. It's going to be quite difficult. And Firebathero, though, looks like he's actually picked off a decent number of the interceptors as well. Siege tanks taking a position here at Bisu's natural. Bisu does not have, you know, the ton of gateways set up at the top left base. I mean, his focus has been on the carriers, but mass DTs! Bisu, the master of DTs, has just made like 8 DTs. I mean, these are the emergency DTs that you make when you're in trouble, but I mean, just one scan and they all die. They weren't even on A move. He just had them right-clicked past the army. I think he just wanted to get a good spread and just have them like all close with the siege tanks at once before Firebathero noticed, but oh man, that was not ideal. However, carriers, as I said, are still pretty good, and Bisu is going to clean this up. Just an overwhelming number of carriers. And I mean, I can just hear the Terrans crying Imba right now. I can just see the live report thread. All those Terran tears. Carriers, man, pretty useful skill. So Bisu is not dead yet. The supplies are quite close, and Bisu has like 8 carriers right now, which is kind of ridiculous. I mean, Firebathero is going to run in here. I think he's going to be able to snipe one of these. As I said, it is pretty open ground, but as you can see, Firebathero just doesn't really have enough Goliaths. Looks like he's got a decent number now. He's going to try and pick off some of these interceptors. The rest of the carriers do get away, though, but he's got to be really careful how he engages this. Look at he's losing siege tanks here and there. Oh, he might grab another carrier. Does grab one more carrier. It's really crucial to keep that carrier count low. If Bisu like gets a full control group of carriers, like he doesn't even have to micro anymore. Just like A move, and the swarm of interceptors blots out the sun. It is. I mean, you know, I'm Protoss, but I kind of agree. Carriers are a little bit silly. So, you know, Bisu, despite a colossal error is still in okay shape, and now we're going to have a big engagement here. There's two DTs, he scans, but it looks like he's going to focus on the carriers rather than the ground units. I don't know if that was the correct decision. firebathero actually losing most of his Goliaths here. Oh my goodness, this is really horrible here. He just cannot keep pace with the carrier count. Every time he's winning on the ground, but I mean, he really needs to whittle down these carrier numbers. This is like worse than TVZ. Like in TVZ or ZVT, if you let the Terran get too many vessels, it becomes increasingly difficult for you to win. And this is like even more so in TVP. You have to keep the carrier numbers down. Those DTs, by the way, right now are actually doing a good job because even if like firebathero scans, most of his units are focused, like his Goliaths are all focused on the carriers, obviously. So the DTs and the scans also are like not 100% in time, so they've been doing some good damage. I mean, DTs have really high DPS, but here we go. Carrier's moving into firebathero's third. I do believe he's taking the bottom left base, but if he loses his third, that would be quite unfortunate. He's moving his Goliaths in once again, and actually this is a surprisingly good position for carriers. I was saying how this map doesn't really suit them, but Bisu is really just abusing this edge here. I mean, he's just poking down here, attacking the fourth base of firebathero, and then pulling back to his natural, which is obviously very, very close air-wise. But oh, looks like firebathero does grab another carrier here. Bisu got in a little bit too far, and also is firebathero simultaneously attacking Bisu's fifth base here at the left side. I mean, I gotta say, firebathero, despite the Protoss imbalance, is definitely playing this quite well. Although, unfortunately, he's probably going to lose this fourth base. No, it looks like he's going to send his Goliaths in. But, oh no, the Dragoon's actually coming in from the other side. Goliaths this time getting trapped. This is like the reverse of the situation we saw earlier, where Bisu's army got trapped there. And crucially, if you look at the supplies, Bisu had 150 supply to 93 of firebathero. I really don't think firebathero can actually win anymore. He's behind 60 supply. There is just a ridiculous number of carriers. Oh my god, storming all of the SCVs here. firebathero had left them there just mining and repairing the command center. He's going to lose that base. And this is literally unwinnable now, unfortunately. We will not be seeing firebathero dance. Carriers are just too good, man. They're way too good. I mean, man, firebathero, GG's, but I thought he had it when he was sieged up at Bisu's natural. Like, I was convinced that he had won the game. Bisu with that huge blunder. And firebathero looking really defeated. I feel for him like that. That does seem a little bit unfair, like for Bisu to have won that game. Ugh. I'm feeling a little bit dirty. My Terran brethren, I do apologize. Oh, that's kind of gross. Well, we are going into set 3.
Dan Collins wrote on the Paddy Power Facebook wall, hope the chavs don't ruin.
Sorry about this.
Like
it's an
did
ad.
Scott.
And we are going into set 3. I was looking at this chat and like, this is so funny. This guy is just like, stupid caster biased against Protoss.